Well, Dan, you just said more cameras than Sydney. How good is it to be back in Melbourne?
Oh, yeah, it's only came back a couple of weeks ago. It's nice to be close to, I guess, family and friends, and certainly meeting the boys last week and the staff, and this new facility. It's really been a warm welcome, and loving my time so far in Melbourne, and certainly down here at Moorabbin.
You don't look to be taking any time to be settling in. You look to be, issuing instructions to the younger guys there, taking it upon yourself to prove yourself as a leader as you were at Sydney here as well.
Oh yeah, I think all the 1 to 4 year guys, or the guys that have been training this week and they've just started have been really good. Super vocal. Jack Steele, Jack Loney, a few of those boys, Paddy McCartan, been voicing up. So it's been a really good vibe and energy, even though there's been lower numbers, and certainly the boys have been putting in. So it's been a good start, and looking forward to meeting a few more boys on Monday.
How are you feeling about your body and your groins? And you fully fit? How are you feeling?
Yeah. I'm obviously looked after myself in the off season and didn't go too hard. So just obviously easing into it the next probably 2 or 3 weeks, and getting back into the swing of things. But from a body point of view, I'm feeling pretty good, and it is only obviously early in the pre-season, but so far I'm feeling pretty good.
Have you lost any weight? You look quite trim.
Just in recent years, certainly last year going into the season, just because I'd had a few injury issues, and particularly this pre-season, I'll try and be a bit lighter if I can, and I'll probably have to have a few appointments in the gym as I go in the next couple of months to try and put it back on.
What are some of the main differences you've noticed with St Kilda comparing to Sydney?
Oh, look, it's start off with this different state, different climate, a bit more humid up in Sydney, but it's only a week or two in, mate. So at this stage, still getting to meet everyone, and it's really hard to make any comparisons just yet.
You obviously struggled a little bit with your body last year. How have you turned it around, and where's it at in that respect?
How have I turned it around? Well, I guess, when you don't do much of a pre-season, I think you sort of leave yourself open a little bit for soft tissues, and before that was, some groin soreness, and got over that, and the back half of the year my groins were fine, and the off-season's much the same, and now they're fine. It's probably more of just trying to get some more load in, some running in the legs, and hopefully have an injury-free run at it. It takes a bit of a toll mentally, but you certainly got to put a lot of work in off the field, away from the track with the physios and other people off the track as well, in terms of looking at different ways to get your body right. A lot of players in the competition would know what I'm talking about, and a lot of players would be doing a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure their body's right to run out there.
Is there a bit of an unknown for you, though, that you probably won't know how your body is until round 1, until you are back again playing forward?
No unknown.
So you're confident you've got 5 years left in you?
Yeah, hopefully more.
That obviously there's going to be question marks about your longevity and so on, just because of your last couple of years. How do you recapture the heights that you had in Sydney?
Oh, just work ethic, really. Being fastidious with your preparation to make sure your body's right. I think I mentioned before that the physio staff and the fitness staff here have been first rate with the program they're setting and the work that they do to get yourself right. But and that was a really attractive thing to come down here, I guess, with some of the injury battles that I'd experienced in recent years. But probably a bit smarter with my training in the off season, and then obviously in the pre-season to start with. But and just management and knowing who to go to as well. So I've said it a few times now. You do need a little bit of luck, but at the same time, I'm really confident that with the just a bit of work ethic and some management, I'll be fine.
There's been a fair bit of commentary around your deal and media experts having their say. How have you processed all of that?
Well, I think they're all paid to make an opinion, and I might have mentioned it last night. Speaking of SEN, people have had opinions for the last 2 years, and fair enough. I guess I haven't been playing great footy, but a lot of the people, like yourself, probably don't know the background, so that's fine, and that's why you guys are here today. But like the rest of the boys at the club, we've got to work really hard in this this pre-season. I've got a point to prove, but so does the whole footy club, and there's really good energy so far from the young guys, and a few of the older boys have been in the gym, and they're really excited, and I think everyone's excited to try and build on a disappointing year last year for St Kilda, and really come out firing next year.
Are you interested in putting your hand up for a leadership position next year?
Oh, look, it's a week into training. I think it's just about getting to know all the boys, and whether you're a leader or not, whether you're myself or a young player in their first year, or guys in their second year like Connor Clark or Nick Caulfield, it's important that everyone's leading and directing. It doesn't matter who you are. So if there's a title there, great. If not, it won't change how you attack training certainly trying to help the guys out wherever I can and try and give them some points and tips where I can as well.
New rivals in the coaching front as well. Brett Ratton's out there. Probably haven't had much time, but he had a chance to sit down and have a chat with him.
Oh, I haven't had a good chat to him yet. I'm looking forward to that sort of early next week. But he's been unbelievable so far. Really great energy. He's a great people person. You can tell that within a week. And some of his ideas with ball movement and some of the stuff that he's obviously worked with a lot of great midfielders down at Hawthorn and Carlton as well. So you can just tell some of his ideas already. A first class, and him along with Brendan Lade, two big acquisitions. And as well as Billy Slater is working with some of the leadership. So some great new people to have in the club, and it was good to see Dean Kent down here this morning as well.
Does that feel with confidence that you to have some more experienced heads in coaching wise to be able to support a young and developing group?
Oh, I think so. I think having a few chats to Richo after the trade in recent times, I think he's an outstanding coach. He didn't have a lot of luck last year, I think. Injuries and obviously boys were down on confidence and whatnot. It doesn't take much in this competition to lose games of footy. Remember at the Swans we were 0-7 and weren't playing overly bad, but looked like it was all over from that point of view. So you only have to be 5 or 10% off, and I think he's got a good year ahead of him. I think he's a great coach, got a good head on his shoulders, and so far I've been really impressed with Richo, and certainly Ratton and Lade are great acquisitions. They've been at successful clubs, so that can only help them, but it can only help the players as well. So I think from a whole club perspective, it's really exciting, and the acquisitions can only help and bolster our chances for next year.
A bit of a different one. Tom Jock's out there, and you've been training with him. What are your impressions of him, and do you think he could make it at AFL level? Yeah,
I do. I don't want to put the moz on him, and I don't want to force James Gallagher's or Leathers or Gubby Owen's hand. But I think he could be a player. Really raw, plenty of upside. His work rate's outstanding. One of the better runners so far in the first or 4 year guys. He's got a nice kick on him too, and he's good size. So I think if the Saints don't take him, which I hope they do, I think a club would be stupid not to take a chance on Tom Jock. He looks like a real up and coming prospect. So I might have to get on the phone and try and convince Richo to give him a spot, because he looks like a likely top.
Who'd win the time trial, you or him?
I think Jockey'd have me at the moment, but hopefully Jan Feb I'll take him.
Dan, do you like there's obviously a lot more media here and all that. Does that excite you, like coming back to a footy mad state, or do you sort of like rather just put your head down and?
I prefer walking down Hall Street with the shoes off and just going to the beach for a swim and just taking it easy. But I think it's just part and parcel of the caper down here, and I think having that interest, that footy sort of interest, and is exciting. I guess in Sydney you don't really get that much, and you sort of get a quarter-page spread from Neil Cordy on a Saturday, and that's about it. So I guess it's nice to have some more interest and some more footy talk, but at the same time I enjoy getting away from it and keeping that balance as well.
Do you take motivation as having a point to prove coming to St Kilda?
I've probably got a point to prove to myself. I'm probably the harshest critic, I guess, of myself and my standards. So no doubt I had a really good run up until the end of 2016 from a games perspective, and my form was pretty sound for a number of years. And to have 2 down years was disappointing, and I've got a point to prove to myself, I guess, but certainly to the St Kilda boys, and you've got to earn their respect first and foremost, and the coaches. So that's the first and foremost, and the supporters, and that's the most important thing. But I think certainly I really want to try and get back to some really solid form, especially early in the season, and go from there.
Your form is.
Sorry, what was your assessment of the Saints when you were trying to work out whether you'd come to St Kilda?
Well, I'd actually just by chance watched a few of their games where they actually were right in and played pretty well. The 2 ones that stood out for me were the ones where they pushed the Tigers all the way last year at the G, and they beat Melbourne as well at the MCG as well. So, and I remember playing them a couple of years ago when we were absolutely flying at the Swans, and it was about 10 goals apiece at half time, and they were playing real power footy, and it was toe and toe, and that was when we were absolutely flying. So for me, I was really buoyed by their list. I think they've got a really good up and coming list. And I don't think it takes much to change it either way. So I think with a bit of luck with injury and some work rate, there's been some good acquisitions off the field with some coaches and whatnot. So I think it's a really exciting time, and I think their list and their form last year was disappointing, but I think they're a lot better club than what they showed, and the club, along with myself, we've got a lot to prove next year, which is exciting.
You'll have to wait until round 23 to play Sydney, but how do you reflect on your decade at the SCG?
I think it's something I'll probably think more about towards the end. my career here at St Kilda. But yeah, look, it's pretty emotional at the BNF, I guess, saying bye to friends who I've been really close with. You know, John Longmire, who I'm still really close with and speak to reasonably regularly, and you know, a lot of good memories there and achieved a lot of success, albeit we would have loved to have won another flag, but to play in the grand finals, the prelim finals, and win a grand final was pretty special, and it was a pretty special group that's up there, and then I've left in the Harbour City. But certainly a lot of fond memories, but right now it's about St Kilda, and I'm so excited about this challenge, and just meeting the young boys and training with them last week makes me even more pumped for the challenge ahead, and certainly seeing some of the old guys in the last couple of days, it gives you that extra rev on as well, and I just can't wait for sort of January, February, and heading into the season proper in March, so it's going to be good.
Your former side is...
Old mate Buddy will have a few words for you when it comes around.
Yeah, he gave me a call the other day, and yeah, was giving me a bit of flack about a few bits and pieces, so yeah, he's always got a few comments on a few things, so yeah, it'd be good to get his 6 AM phone calls on a Monday and Tuesday and see what he's got to say after the weekend's game.
And your former side's pushing pretty hard for a 3-game grand final series. Heard from a few administrators on this, but as a player, what's your view on that idea?
Oh, look, I'm probably going to turn a few heads. I actually don't mind it to myself. I mean, it would be hard if you did. The only reason why I wouldn't like it is because, you know, if players did get injured, therefore the team would be disadvantaged and whatnot. But I mean, I honestly don't mind if you've got a team that's had that one-off day and then comes out and wins the next 2 quite comfortably, and they're the best team of the season. I don't mind it, but I can see that from the footy purist point of view, and I know Jimmy Bartel was a massive. He was strongly against it, and I understand those views. But as a player, I personally, if you get a chance to play in 3 grand finals, I'd be all for it. But I'm sort of looking at it from a point of view. If you have one off day, trying to get that chance to redeem yourself over a coming couple of weeks.
Would you have been able to play in 2016, the second week?
100%. Absolutely. Oh yeah, I would have for sure. I mean, and as we would have the other 21 blokes.
No, I just thought because you hurt your knee, didn't you? At that point, didn't you?
Yeah, but I still would have had a crack. Probably I would have limped to the line, but I would have had a crack.
What do you want to tell us about number 10?
Yeah, well, they sort of got sent through a few numbers, I guess, as Dean probably would have. And I think 1 was available, but a bit of pressure on the number 1. And I think Jakey Carlisle apparently likes to take up a bit of locker space, so I heard. And then 23, I think Bub would give me a fair bit of flack if I took 23. So I was sort of left with 10, and yeah, it's obviously a pretty famous number here at the Saints, so a lot of history in it, and yeah, I guess I'm pretty proud and privileged to have the opportunity to wear it. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, mate.